Hey guys, Mike Builds, welcome back to another quick video. In a previous video, we built this solar-powered handcart, complete off-grid solar power system. This thing's been phenomenal. I've been using it over the past couple of weeks and it's been very solid and extremely awesome. However, there is one downside to this setup that a lot of you guys have also pointed out in the comments, and that's the fact that you can't actually charge this thing while you're using it. So let me kind of explain what I mean by that. So basically this inverter also is a battery charger. Most, if not all-in-one inverters that have a battery charging or grid bypass feature cannot actually take AC current in to charge the battery and invert power from the battery to give you output. I guess that's just the way the circuits are designed, and essentially the inverter can either invert or charge, but you cannot do both. So if you want to be able to actually run your inverter and charge your system at the same time, maybe off a generator or anything like that, you're going to need an external charger in order to do that. There's a couple products on the market that do that. One of them is called a Chargeverter, and we actually have one for my big 48-volt solar power system. The Chargeverter is awesome, but it's also very powerful and also very expensive. And on a system like this, you don't really need that much power. So I actually had this company reach out called Wavelink. That's what the brand looks like. They actually sent me this to review, and I actually think this will work perfect for this setup. This is actually made to charge golf carts, but it can do all kinds of battery chemistries, including lithium iron phosphate. So a 16S lithium iron phosphate battery, kind of like what we're using here. So my goal is to actually repurpose this and mount it to this solar power cart and use this as our Chargeverter. Essentially, that way, if we want to actually charge the system while we're using it, we can just connect this to another inverter, another power station, a generator, the grid, anything you want, and this will actually put power into our battery. The nice thing about this charger, it's waterproof, even though our setup is not. It's got a built-in fan, and it's capable of doing 15 amps. 15 amps is quite a bit of power. That's close to 1,000 watts of charging power, and in my opinion, that is plenty just to keep everything topped up and all that good stuff. So we're gonna unbox this thing and take a quick look at it and then get it hooked up to the cart, test it out, and actually make sure it works. As far as cost, it's around $138 on Amazon right now. I will put a link in the description if you guys wanna go check it out. Like I said, this was sent to me to review, so I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. I'm just gonna show you guys objectively how the charger works, show you guys the specs and all that, and you guys can make up your own mind if that's something you're interested in. And if it ends up working out really well, then it's a very good, cheap way to get a 48-volt battery charger for your 48-volt off-grid solar power system. All right, also in the box, we get a little quick start manual, and it just kind of goes over all the information you would need to know, as well as LED statuses. Now, because this can do multiple battery chemistries, I'm not really sure how it knows which one we're using. So I'm gonna be interested to see how we actually set the type of battery chemistry. Hopefully that's a smooth and easy process. I guess it is good though if you're using lead acid as well. So here's the charger itself. So right off the bat, this thing's very heavy. It's all cast aluminum. It's got a nice paint job. There's our cooling fan right there to help keep the unit cool. It's got a little handle up here in case you want to carry it around. And it's also got little mounting feet right here, so you can actually mount this if you're going to install this maybe permanently in your golf cart, or if you're going to do what we're going to do and install it on our power station. So there's a good look at the front of it. Pretty simple. Okay, right here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get a better angle of this. So these are going to be our status lights. There's a little button right here, and that's actually how we're gonna cycle through and pick our battery chemistry. And I hope that once we pick the battery that we're gonna be running, it'll actually remember that. That way, every time you power this up, you don't have to remember to switch that, because that would be kind of annoying. As well as it could be potentially dangerous, because if you forget to swap it and you charge on the wrong chemistry, the voltage may not be correct. So just something to keep in mind. All right, now the cord that goes to the actual golf cart or the output is actually quite long. As you guys can see, that's probably close to 10 feet. And the power cord also about the same, maybe closer to 8 to 10 feet if I really stretch the cord out. So for the output, we get this weird 3-prong plug. Now, obviously, I don't have anything that uses this, and my golf cart is also an E-Z-GO golf cart. This is more for a club car, so I'm gonna have to cut this off. What I'm hoping is, if you guys look, it says positive and negative there. I'm hoping those top 2 pins, the positive and negative pins, we can just connect straight to there. We shouldn't have to use the 3rd pin. And once we have those 2 pins connected to our battery, the charger should turn on and start charging. So I went ahead and removed the screws out of the plug. And if you guys look, it does only have 2 wires. So we don't gotta worry about that 3rd sense wire that is not needed in this case. So this should be as easy as connecting this to our battery, setting the battery type, and this thing should start charging. In order to test the output and the current usage and efficiency of this charger, we're gonna connect it to the server rack battery directly onto the terminals, just using these little guys right here until we permanently install it. On the input, I'm gonna put this kilowatt hour meter, and this is gonna show us the watts going into the charger, And then the display here on our server rack battery is actually going to show us the output going into the battery itself, and we'll be able to do a little bit of math to determine what the efficiency of the charger is. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into our 48 volt solar power system. According to our manual, we need to set this thing to red, and red is going to be LiFePO 4 batteries. So right now it's set to green, so I'm going to go ahead and click the button. All right, there we go. Battery type is now red. Now, one thing I'm going to check, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect power from the unit, and when I plug it back in, I'm going to see if the red light is still illuminated. That way we know it'll save our settings and we don't have to keep switching back and forth. If you guys are curious or worried a little bit about safety when it comes to using this charger because it can do multiple chemistries, I actually just checked the charging specs here, and it's kind of hard to read, but basically the max charge voltage this will charge to is 58.4, which is 100% safe for lithium iron phosphate chemistry. 58.4 divided by 16 is 3.6 volts per cell, so that's still completely safe to do. The only difference is if you have this thing set to the other chemistries is it does different stages of charging, which we're not going to need to do with a lithium iron phosphate battery. So do keep that in mind. If you accidentally have this on lithium manganese cobalt or lead acid, it's not going to increase the voltage to a high enough level to damage anything. It's just the charging profiles are not going to be correct. Anyways, I wanted to clear that because that would worry me a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and power the charger back on and see if it memorized. And yes, it did. So we have a red light, meaning it did remember our settings, so that's good to go. We're going to go ahead and connect the leads, but before we do, I'm going to go ahead and power off the charger again. Okay, there we go. We are completely connected. Super easy. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug in the charger. And there we go. We are charging with 15.5 amps. And we are using 914 watts. So we're pulling 918 watts from the wall, and then what I did here is I took the 15.4, 15.5 amps times the 53 volts, and that gave us 821 watts. And that gives us an efficiency rating around 90%, which is pretty common, so not too bad. All right, now that we know the charger works as advertised and we know the efficiency and all that, now I'm gonna go ahead and fully install this thing, get all the wiring tidied up. Once we're done, I'm gonna show you guys the final product and we'll wrap this up. All right, guys, we just finished the charger install on the cart. As you guys can see, the cart still looks nice and clean, so we didn't make it look all crazy with extra wiring. I am gonna end up making a little hook to put our power cord on, so I'm just gonna put that on the floor just for now. But all I did, very simple, zip tied it to the metal frame right here, just using zip ties, and then put a little zip tie on the handle. And as you guys can see, the charger is plenty stable. And I just took the output and I wrapped it around the cart. All the access tucks in down there, and then it comes up right here and connects to our main positive and main negative. So right now the charger is connected with no power flowing through it. Personally, I would probably throw a switch on there with a little box. That way, whenever the charger is not being used, you can fully isolate it from the battery. But it's not actually using any power like that. There's actually some relays and switches in here that click off whenever you de-energize the charger from the wall. So I do think it's okay to just leave it connected, but if you're not comfortable leaving it connected or you think it might be an issue on your system, all you have to do is add a little switch. That way when the charger's not used, you can fully isolate it from your entire system and you'll have no issues. But just for now, I connected it just like this to make it easy. Like I said, it's not pulling any power, and the lights, as y'all can see, everything is completely turned off. Where the charger's mounted to, we get plenty of airflow for the cooling fan and the heat sink. So I think that's a really good location. It's also out of the way. It's not sticking out, not doing anything crazy. And then all we gotta do when we're ready to charge our system is take our plug it into the wall. And there we go, guys. We're charging our battery system up. There's our status lights. And with it charging, we can easily turn our inverter on, use the inverter's power, and all that good stuff. Totally separate system from the inverter, so that's really good. And that's a very good addition to any solar power system, in my opinion. I think that's gonna do it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the charger install on our solar power setup. If you guys made it to the end of the video, thank you all so much. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. I enjoy reading all your comments. Let me know, are you guys using a battery charger on your setup? What kind of battery charger are you guys using? What results have you had and all that good stuff? I'd really love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you all so much for checking out the video, and I'll see you on the next one.